This is Ted, football coach, Kansas native, firm believer in biscuits, people, and the radical idea that process matters more than results. Ted has never managed a Premier League club's finances. He has never held a Series 7 licence or studied for the CFP exam. But in 5 seasons of coaching, Ted Landers accidentally became one of the greatest financial philosophers who ever lived. He just didn't know it. We're going to fix that today. Ted once told his players that a goldfish has a 10-second memory. If it swims into the glass, it just forgets and keeps swimming. He used it to help athletes move past mistakes. But here is what Ted understood that most financial advisors never say out loud. The goldfish principle is the most important psychological tool in personal finance. Every person who has ever made a financial mistake, and that is every single person who has ever lived, carries that mistake with them. The debt they took on in their 20s, the bad investment they made, not planning for retirement. Most people let those mistakes become the reason they never start. Ted's goldfish tells you something different. Forget it. Keep swimming. Start today. The single most common reason people don't build wealth is not that they lack the income. It is that they don't believe it will work for them. They look at a TFSA contribution of $300 a month and think, what difference does that make? They look at a term life policy and think, I probably won't need it. They look at a retirement calculator and think, that number is for other people. Ted Lasso built a Premier League culture in 1 season, not because he had the best players, but because he made every single person in that building believe the process worked, before there was any evidence that it did. Compound interest works the same way. You will not see evidence that it's working for months, then years, then one day you open your statement and the number is different. Not because something dramatic happened, because you believed in the process long enough to let it work. Ted Lasso once quoted Walt Whitman in a dart game. Be curious, not judgmental. It is one of the most disarming things a person can say, and it is the exact energy that the conversation about money desperately needs. Most people avoid talking about their finances because they are afraid of being judged by their partner, by an advisor, by themselves. The shame around money, the debt, the missed contributions, the savings account that never grew, keeps more people financially stuck than any market crash ever has. Be curious about your money, not judgmental. Ask the question you've been avoiding. Open the statement you've been ignoring. Have the conversation with your partner that feels too uncomfortable to start. Curiosity is the first step. Judgment is what stops most people from taking it. Ted once said he had taken on a challenge so ludicrous, it could only work if everyone involved committed completely. He moved to England to coach a sport he didn't fully understand in a league he had never worked in. And he approached it the same way every single day. With a plan, with belief, and without the anxiety of someone who needed results immediately. The people who build real financial security do the same thing. They commit to a plan that looks ludicrous in year 1, $300 a month into an account that doesn't feel like it's doing anything, and they approach it with the calm certainty of someone who has read the history books and knows how compound interest ends. They are not stressed about the market today. They are not anxious about the contribution they made last month. They have a plan, they trust the plan, they keep coaching. Every morning Ted baked biscuits for his boss, not because it was required, not because anyone asked, because he understood that small, consistent acts of care, done without expectation of immediate return, compound into something that eventually changes everything. Your financial plan is biscuits, the automated TFSA contribution nobody congratulates you for, the life insurance renewal nobody celebrates, the RRSP deposit that doesn't feel like it matters yet. These are your biscuits. Nobody sees them. Nobody claps. You do them anyway because you understand something Ted understood from day 1. The results are not the point. The consistency is the point. The results come later, and when they come, they are extraordinary. Ted never won a Premier League title. He never became the most technically sophisticated coach in England. What he did was build something more durable than a trophy. A room full of people who believed they could become more than they currently were. The best financial plan you will ever have is not the most complicated one. It is not the one with the highest projected returns or the cleverest tax strategy. It is the one you actually follow, consistently. without waiting until you feel ready, without waiting until the market is right, without waiting until the number feels big enough to matter. Ted had a sign in that locker room for a reason, not as decoration, as a daily reminder of the one thing that separates the people who build something from the people who meant to. 5 lessons, 1 sign, 1 decision. You do not need to have it all figured out. You do not need the perfect plan. You need the goldfish memory to let go of what's behind you. The curiosity to ask the question you've been avoiding. The belief that the process works before it shows you that it does. The commitment to keep going on the days when nothing seems to be happening. And the willingness to do the small things, the biscuits, without waiting for an audience. Legacy Path is here every week. The link is below, and like Ted always said, taking on a challenge so ludicrous it could only work if you were completely committed. Your financial future is that challenge. Start.